Hello, and everybody, welcome. You know, if it's Wednesday, let's say it in virtual unison, Blockchain Day. Welcome to Blockchain Chat with special guest, Michelle Hayward. So today is very special because we are going to talk about maximizing LinkedIn in order to get your next blockchain job or your next blockchain gig. And this is a super exciting conversation we're going to have. I'm going to toss it over to Talisha to introduce Michelle, and then we're going to give Michelle the floor.
Hello, everybody. I'm Talisha Shine. I am the VP of BCI, which is Blockchain Consortium International, and my lovely, lovely colleague and friend, Miss Michelle Hayward, who is this STEM extraordinaire. She has a company called Positive Hire that she's going to tell us a little bit about as well, and give us all the ins and outs to get us linked in with LinkedIn here. So go ahead, Michelle, give us a little bit of about your background and tell us a little bit more about LinkedIn.
So thank you, Talisha. Y'all know it's Talisha. I knew as a Scope Scribe. We go back a few years, right?
Yeah.
So my name is Michelle Hayward. I want to welcome you to my mother's kitchen. I'm sitting at her kitchen table in rural South Carolina. So when I go through the presentation, I'm actually going to turn off my camera because there is no broadband out here. So it is against Southern policy to do that, but due to technological difficulties, I'm gonna cut off my camera. So my background is civil engineering. So I worked in corporate America. Even before I officially finished college, I worked in technology transfer for about 9 months on Technology Drive in Massachusetts, in Westborough, Massachusetts. Came back to South Carolina, finished my master's degree, did about a 20-month stint in technical sales, hated it. And I say that, and then I went over to construction. I love construction, and did everything on capital projects, so anywhere from $350 million projects to about $1.3 billion multi-year projects in the energy sector. So fossil fuel plants, high voltage transmission lines. So if you're ever driving and you see these electrical poles out in the middle of nowhere, you go, wow, I wonder who did that. I did. So, literally in a dirty pickup. Exactly, in a dirty pickup, right? Dirty white pickup. Left corporate, and before I left corporate, I was working on some things, and what it has pivoted to or created it where I am with that idea back in 2015 when I originally met Talisha online, is now Positive Hire. Positive Hire is a tech company which connects experienced Latina, Black, and Indigenous women who are scientists, technologists, engineering, math professionals to management roles in corporate America. Because one of the main reasons women of color, especially those who are underrepresented, leave is the lack of career advancement. So working through Positive Hire, we're working to not only get them career advancement, but also build community, because too often you're the only one in your space. You're the only woman, you're the only Black woman, you're the only Latina, you just the only. I've been the only everything, right? And I was never the engineer, like, hey, you need to go see Michelle for drawings. They'll walk into the work trailer like, hey, we're looking for the secretary, Michelle. We don't have one, but we do have an engineer, Michelle. And the looks on their face, like, oh, shit. But anyway, so that's just a little about me. So LinkedIn has always been my second favorite social media platform. And it's crazy to most people, but it was very inspiring to me to see how people were growing their careers. And I didn't know how they were doing it. I didn't understand the power of it. I've been on LinkedIn since 2008. I was in Talisha's hometown or area, Western Pennsylvania, just outside of Pittsburgh, when I joined LinkedIn. So it's been a while. And so I'm going to do a screen share with all of you, and I'm going to go through my presentation. I'm going to turn off my camera now, and we are going to run through this fairly quickly at first because I want to go through some exercises and actually look at your profiles and really help you. And we're going to also pull up job descriptions. So what I need for each of you to do is at least come up with a job title, or if you have a job you can pull up on LinkedIn while I'm going through this, that'll be great as well. Are you seeing my Canvas screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm gonna go in present mode and we're gonna get this started. It's called Powering Up LinkedIn because too often we are very dormant. We are not really using the power of LinkedIn. And I'm going to show you a few what I consider basic things for you to do to power up your LinkedIn. So a bit about me. Again, I am from South Carolina. I love the beach. I love the ocean. I graduated from Clemson University, which is here in South Carolina. Over to the left are these 4 adorable little kids. They have grown up and they are teenagers or preteens. They are not as adorable and as nice. but there are 2/3 of my nieces and nephews. Over on the right side is my oldest nephew, who's actually 27. And considering I'm 30, I can't believe he's 27. But this is when he graduated high school and he's kissing my mom. So that is whose kitchen you are sitting in tonight as we power up your LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. So we're going to cover the name on your profile, your headline, your profile banner, the search feature, and this is everything you can do on a free account. So don't mind that I have a paid account because I'm not going to be using those features, okay? How to make new connections, leveraging groups, and engaging on LinkedIn because it is a social media platform. Okay, so this is a lot of content. I'm gonna go through it fairly quickly. Just screenshot, come back, watch the replay. But you will have what you need to really create a powerful profile and start engaging and growing on LinkedIn. So what's in the name? I have a lot of copy on here because we're going very quickly. And I'm not saying change your government name. I'm not saying change what your mama named you. What I'm saying when it comes to a name, it is important to be clear. So let's say you've got married or divorced, and you may go by, people may search by either of your maiden name or your married name. Be sure you take that in consideration when you create your profile. You may want to have in parentheses, you may want to keep your married name even though you're divorced because more people may know you by that name, especially if you got married earlier in your life, right? So 20 years ago you were married, now you're divorced. Keep that in mind. If you have a PhD, an MBA, a PE, which is a professional engineer's license, or a PMP, you do not have to take those off. Oftentimes they can help you more than hinder you. Unless you're talking to recruiters who are intimidated by letters. And that does happen. I have a terrific story that's not so terrific to share. And we may get to it. Just select though only one of 2. Don't have all the alphabets, all 26 of them behind your name. It's very distracting. But you really want to focus on making your name as clear as possible. If you work in the D&I space like me, then you may, or if you notice people have she, her, Ella, and that's just to let people know your pronouns. And then you have other people that have they and them. So just keep in mind what you see in the area in which you want to be known in and you want to grow your career or business, okay? Talisha, let me know if I get questions because I can always pause and answer those. Headline for your success. Your headline is the most important portion of your LinkedIn profile. And what I mean is when you have a clear and concise headline and you're connecting with people, I no longer send messages when I connect with people. Because even if I send a message, guess what they're going to do? They're going to come to my profile. They're going to read my headline. If my headline does not resonate with them, there's nothing in my message that's going to make them say, that's going to tell them and be okay with connecting with me. So do not be afraid of not sending connection messages with your connection request if your headline is clean and clear. So what I have here is an old headline, and it says Michelle Hayward, right? Founder, speaker, Huffington Post contributor. And I like, nah, that's really not what I want to do. It's like, it's what I want to get paid for, but you really want to have your headline laid out a certain way. So there are 4 parts you really want to focus on. Who do you help? How do you help them? What results do they receive? And key words, because LinkedIn is a powerful search engine. It does look for certain keywords. So who do I help? This is my current headline, or close enough to it. It may not be exact. Helping talent acquisition professionals. What do I help them with? Recruit and retain women of color in professions. Why? For management roles, and then I added it via positive hire. And I still left on founder, speaker, and then LinkedIn does use hashtags. Nobody's going to search for the hashtag still disrupt her. I just think it's cute. Now, if you've ever worked on your LinkedIn headline, you're like, Michelle, how in the world did you get all of that text in there? How many of you are Android people? If you're muted, don't worry about it. Anybody unmuted is an Android person? Oh,
I'm Android all day.
I'm iPhone all day, so
I'm Android forever.
okay. Well, the Android person, you need to be. I hope somebody you are within your home, which is not social distance, is near you, because you need that iOS person. Only on iPhones and iPads can you literally write an extra long headline. And you cannot do it on the web browser, on the desktop app, or Android. It is only available in iOS app. So Androids, y'all lose again. I think it's like 1 to 1 million. So I'm just saying, I forget what's the one thing y'all did.
I'm one in a million. I'll take it.
They used to have a camera, but that was killed with the X. So we took them off of that one. So
exactly. So you're going to craft your headline this way, and it's going to take you 3, maybe 5 tries, and you're going to send it around and just get feedback on it. And people are like, man, that's too long. It's like, well, what's too long about it? If they keep telling you it won't fit, don't worry. Like, I got that covered. They're going to want to know how you know. Like, I will tell you, but I'm going to show you first. So go ahead and just test it. And that's really the only way to really see if it's resonating with people. And we'll talk about testing. It comes when you send out connection requests, okay? So customize your URL. People, please. This is the important part of customizing your URL. It is super easy to do, but it lets people know and identifies that you are on LinkedIn, you're active, and you're serious about your account. And you can still be serious. But it's much easier for me to remember Talisha Shine than it is for me to remember Talisha Shine 849-389 elemental P 123, right? So customize it literally helps you. Plus you can add it to your resume. Plus you can put it other places. Now, one thing to keep in mind, do you want your LinkedIn custom URL to link to you in other places on social media? It doesn't have to, but it's something to consider. If you have a name that is very difficult for Americans, because this is truly an American thing to pronounce, you may want to consider something else. And it may be like blockchain fintech, or blockchain queen, or a blockchain pro fintech, something like that, because people literally screw up names. I was in a workshop yesterday, and the guy's name was Uchendu. He was like, they screwed it up. I'm just known as the master barber, or something like the millionaire barber. And he uses that because people screw up his name. So you can use a custom URL when you know people cannot spell your name like Michelle. I'm often spelled with 2 L's, but I have 1. And then people think it's Mitchell, or Melissa, because I have 1 L. So I get all sorts of weird stuff, even though I have a very simple and common name, to say the least. All right. So this is where you can go to create your own URL. This is my banner. To the right of your banner, even if it's empty, you should see edit public profile and URL. You click on that, and still on the right side, you will see a pencil to customize your URL. What I would tell you is think of 3 to 5 other URL name endings to use, just in case you have a common first name like Eric, and maybe your last name is Brown. There's probably another Eric Brown that beats you to it. So do you want to be E Brown? Do you want to be Eric C. Brown, maybe use your middle initial, Eric Brown, MBA. So have a few variations already set up before you go in and realize somebody else has it. And you can always check before you go to customize it by actually typing in those ends to see if the accounts come up. Your profile header, page header. Okay, most people do not use this space. This is a very, very easy space to go through. And I'm gonna give you a blog on the Positive Hire website. One of my friends came in and did a training for my community on how to create your custom banner, I should say banner, for LinkedIn. And what it'll show you do, how to do it in Canva for free. And it just takes you to commit some time and really think about how to showcase what you do by using your banner. So you can include your contact information, previous clients, or even industries that you service or have worked in, results received by your clients, even if you're in corporate, and a graphic or picture of you in your work environment. So what I have down here in the left-hand corner is actually me. Remember I said I was a civil engineer, I worked in construction? My branding photographer took this picture outside of Newark Airport. I need to do a construction site, and I looked across the highway. I said, hey, there's construction over there. She's like, that's the airport. I said, tell Uber to take us to the airport. I don't see the problem. So we literally took I did a whole branding shoot out in front of Newark Airport. It was blocked off, so it was safe. No traffic was really coming through. They were going to the side of us, so it worked out. So really think about how you can do that even in stock photos, because I don't think you're going to get a photographer to come and take pictures of you while we're shelter in place. Also having the right picture for your profile. You want to have something high quality that's not grainy, that really looks good, and it may capture your brand colors. It may capture your favorite colors, but it truly looks professional, high quality. So you want at least one of these. Right now, if you don't have a headshot, what I suggest you do, go over to YouTube and figure out how best to take a selfie or have somebody in your household take a professional picture of you with just a white blank wall. If you are of melanin, per my branding photographer, do not wear a white shirt, but you do want a white background, and you want light to be facing your face and not to be behind you, so you're not backlit. So go to YouTube, look for some videos on how to take a good headshot using your smart device, and just use that for now. But it really speaks volumes when you have a great headshot on your profile. And I actually used the one to the left on my Periscope profile a few years ago, and people knew it was a new picture. They're like, oh my God. And as small as it is, I was still getting compliments on it. It cracks me up. But a good picture is a good picture. Your profile summary. Okay. And this is called your about. So real quick, I'm gonna go over to the about section. And this is my good friend, Tamara. And your about section, I said summary, but it's truly your about. It really is important that you use keywords in this section. And those keywords are going to be tied to the industry and the types of job you are looking for. So be sure you understand what those keywords are. And you're like, Michelle, how do I find that? Remember I said I wanted you to pull up a job here on LinkedIn. If you haven't already, look for that. Look for 2 to 3 of them. Don't do more than 3, because then you can get really confused. And you want to do 2 to 3 from different companies, but in the same industry, to see what are 3 to 5, maybe 8 words that are commonly used in that industry. And that is going to help you craft an about as well as a headline with keywords that recruiters will search for, as well as hiring managers look for when you send them connection requests. So I'm gonna see if this is something for me or if this is something for somebody else. Use background remover if you have a great image. Okay, yes. All right, that is a great tip. I love that. All right, so we are going to go back to Canva and get this back rolling. You do want to use specific words. One thing I do have in my profile that Tamara doesn't have in hers, my name is often misspelled. Like I told you, I'm called Mitchell, Melissa, Michael. I actually have those in my about section, as well as misspellings for Hayward, because I get Hayward, and Haywood the most often. So miscommon spellings of your name, or even I know we have Eric on here. It's Eric with a C and a K. Mm-hmm. So you want to keep those in mind, and you can keep those in there because the search will then pull it up. Your profile summary, this is it's a great way to truly differentiate yourself. So we're going to talk about skill set in a little bit, and you're really going to narrow down maybe industries you've worked in, size of projects you've worked on. And so a lot of people don't know how to leverage the about section, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more, so you can create a summary that really is winning and overall very, very impactful for your profile, especially for the search feature. How to do search. Search is in the free account is still good. It is not the best. So if I went and searched for somebody in an earlier session, her first name is Anita. And I said, well, you should be a second level connection. If you are in TAG, one of the most popular conferences or organizations, the Anita B org, it was pulling up people who volunteer or work for Anita B org, but her first name was Anita. And so although I was saying I was searching by name, it was pulling up every possible Anita as possible, because it say, hey, if you want to get this for free, you're going to have to spend more time sifting through the data. So keep that in mind when you're doing searches, that you need to be a bit more patient when you have a free account. But when you are doing searches on LinkedIn, you can do search by people, jobs, content, companies, groups, and schools. Did you know that? Did you know you could do all these different types of searches? Put a 1 in the chat if you did. Put a question mark like, what? Because it's truly interesting when people are like, I didn't know you could do all of these search. I just thought I could just search for people. Okay, see, I got a few what? But I'm glad a lot of you already know this, because it means you are leveraging the free LinkedIn or the paid LinkedIn, but either way, you're leveraging the search. And the more characteristics you have about people, the better it will help you. Let's click here. Okay. Go back one. Now, connections, first, second, and third. A first level connection is the people you're directly connected to. Second are people who you're separated. You both share a similar connection, the same connection. First level connection. And third is like you're not connected with anybody. So what makes this really interesting, we always should say, is 6 degrees of separation. Well, LinkedIn said, nope. We only have 3.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to signal to us. So LinkedIn has what's called the network effect. And part of the network effect with LinkedIn is you can broaden your network by having by connecting to more people. For LinkedIn, they're saying their magical number to really maximize your connections on the platform is 500. And a lot of people don't have 500. They have more Facebook friends, more Twitter followers, more Instagram followers than they do LinkedIn connections. I want to know, what is your real goal in life? Is it somewhere, maybe you're in tech, and Twitter then is truly a better platform for you than LinkedIn. If you're trying to break into an industry, sometimes Twitter truly is the better place to be. Otherwise, you're over here on LinkedIn opposed to Twitter. So understand that gameplay and really how to leverage one or both platforms, because you can literally link your LinkedIn and Twitter accounts. I did that a few years ago, and leverage things that way as well. Again, you want to do keywords. You can search by keywords. You can search by location. When you search by company, you can search by current and past. For those of you who are looking to get into a company, and I do this too as part of my tech company, Positive Hire, trying to learn more about company culture, right? I will talk to previous employees. Not everybody that leaves an employer had a bad experience, but they're more likely to share with you details they would not share if they were still an employee. I'm just saying.
And Michelle, I'm sorry. I got one question about the connections.
Yeah.
Now, if for someone who's moving from one career into another, and she said they have, attained the 500 connections in the one career, but they're moving into the other. I guess that's kind of the issue, though, right? Is they need to gain 500 new connections in the new field that they're moving into. Is that
not
right?
necessarily?
Okay.
Because the 500 you already have may already be connected to people in a new industry you're in. So your strategy then is to figure out, for the connections that you have, are they connected to your top 20 companies? So I recommend, number one, make a list of top 20 companies you'd like to work for in that industry that have the jobs that you like. Then go through and identify. Sometimes you can do this strictly on LinkedIn, but also each employer's website, and identify who may be the business unit VP, the executive VP, and work your way down and see who they're connected to. Some C-suite people are active on here. Not all of them are, and not every day, the larger the corporation is. But you want to work your way down to director level at the very minimum, depending on the role. And that's who you want to connect with internal to those organizations, because it's their budget that job is tied to. And they may not, depending on the level of the role, they may or may not be the hiring manager, but the hiring manager is probably reporting to them. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that does. Uh-huh.
I also like to throw in it, you can also follow. That's another way that you don't have to be connected to the person. You can follow actually people as well as companies.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that you're connected to them. That just truly means that you will now have their content populate in your timeline. And that's also a really good way to start, engaging with them, even though you don't know them. This is a good way to get that information going, make that connection, and then people start to reach out from you and have a conversation.
Exactly. So I just dropped in, I just did a second level connection, and Carla Harris, who is over at Morgan Stanley, I can follow her. And Carla works on investing for startups. So I do know that much, right? But it's a great way, like Talisha said, to see what content they're posting. If they're posting, I still would go to Carla's page before I would follow her. She doesn't have a banner, but she Carla. So, but I'm looking to see what is her last activity. What has she been saying? And I don't see much on her, but she does have 40,000 plus followers. So sometimes you want to see what their activity is, and sometimes I'm gonna follow them just to see what they're going on, what's going on with them. And she's a second level connection, so what's up? So I can still connect with her. Let me tell you a little thing about LinkedIn and how they're gonna make you pay to play. You will go to certain people's accounts, and they do this randomly from what I can tell. And instead of the connection button here, they have the follow. You're like, man, I don't want to pay. So people literally go pay. But if you go to more, the connection button, unless this person has filled the number of connections they can have, or they're no longer connecting with people, you can generally find it under more. So don't necessarily go pay. All right. So just keep that in mind. I'm running over. So we went through new connections, optimizing, join groups. let me go through a hack with joining groups if you're using a free account. So join groups is under work. And you can only have, the last time I checked, you can only have 100 groups. And then it was a thing like subgroups, and you can have like 50 of those. It's not like Facebook where you have a free for all for as many groups as you want to be in. But be sure you select groups where you can leverage your connections. So what do I mean? I'm gonna go to a group that I actually don't own. I'm going to go to the National Society of Black Engineers. A whole bunch of recruiters in here. I'm not trying to connect, but I do want to go over here and I see where I have all, there are 11,122 members. I want to click on all of those. I cannot search, I can only search by name. But what it gives me the ability to do though is go through groups and look at the job titles of people that are in this community with me. And then I'll still go to their profile. I can send a message, I can go to more, and I can connect with them. And I literally just send a message because we're a third level connection. I say, hey, we're both in the National Society of Black Engineers LinkedIn group. I love to connect with other people in IT or engineers. Let's connect, Michelle. And they generally will connect with me. So if you have a free account, you truly leverage groups to start getting more connections, because LinkedIn limits how many searches you can do. So either screen capture, copy, export, whatever you need to do when you do a search, and you get like 328 people, because eventually LinkedIn is going to cut you off if you're continually doing a search within the month. And I can't remember what the limit is, but trust me, I usually hit it hard when I was using it free, and I would just flip the groups and go through groups and start connecting with people. And that's probably how I got my first 2,000 or 3,000 connection requests. But I'm very strategic about the type of company and also the level of people I generally connect with, depending on the side of whether I'm playing recruiter or community builder, because I have a two-sided marketplace for my tech startup. So it depends on your strategy, what you want to do. Any questions about groups and leveraging groups with a free account?
We're good.
Okay. Remember I said this is a social media platform?
Yes.
And I need y'all to be social. So what that actually means is you're going to have to go comment on people's posts. But I don't want you to be scared, because most of the time what you're going to find are people are not commenting on posts. But remember how Talisha said, hey, go and follow people? Well, as you see the people you follow are posting stuff, go and start engaging and commenting with a thoughtful comment. So if they post an article, go at least read the first 2 paragraphs and maybe the last paragraph and give a 5 or 7 word response. And if you really want them to respond back, ask a question. Now, LinkedIn has been horrible the last 2 months in sending me notifications. So I rounded up other people, and we've all noticed the notifications aren't working properly on LinkedIn. So you probably want to tag the person if you can in your reply, hoping that maybe then they'll see it. Because just response to posts, we aren't seeing the notifications. So just to be aware of that. So it is a great way to do that, and really, really leverage LinkedIn with people, hiring managers that you really want to connect with by following their account and responding to their posts. Now, on the other side of this, you can share content as well. So I had up, and it was from my business page, but I also from my personal profile, sharing videos. I don't share a lot of videos on here, but you can share videos. You can share, you can do video posts, curated articles. I do more curated articles, wherein you may take a quote, a couple sentences out of the article, and then ask a question in an article and include up to 5 hashtags, because hashtags are starting to grow more now on LinkedIn. You can also live stream here. LinkedIn Live is an application only process. So you can't do like Facebook, everybody has it, LinkedIn, like, nah. Because you can't natively live stream from LinkedIn. It is still, you have to go through a third party to do it, but it is still a very great way to connect with people. I usually get connection requests and messages and phone calls from friends and old classmates when they see that I've gone live. It really is very powerful here on LinkedIn. Let me go back to video posts. If you do video on other platforms like Instagram and you use something like InShot, where it gives you the text on your video, use those videos over here. Videos on LinkedIn can't be more than 10 minutes, but still having something like 90 seconds to 2.5 minutes usually gets you better replays and views. So definitely look at that, but no videos longer than 10 minutes. And of course, if you a person who loves writing blogs, Pulse is LinkedIn's blogging platform, and it is now open to everyone. When it first launched, it was only open to influencers. And LinkedIn just rolled out a newsletter portion. So some of you may be getting emails now about newsletters within the LinkedIn profile. They have only, again, they're very select few have access to that you can use as well. So there are other ways to get seen on here than commenting on people. So you want to, people's posts, so you want to do a combination, but you don't have to spend more than 10 to 30 minutes a day for the average working person. For me, I'm on here for hours, just because I do a lot of engagement on here. So I want to get to y'all because this is about you. And I have somebody who shared their LinkedIn profile. Any questions before we go into your session? Because I want to make sure you have what you need for everything. Because even though you can watch the replay, I do want to make sure I answer any questions you have.
I don't see any in the chat. I don't think there's any in the Facebook group either. So we're good.
Right. So I see Eric and Dr. is Keisha.
Keisha.
Okay.
Keisha, like Patricia.
Okay. Are both of you looking for jobs or just one of you?
I'm looking. I'll say I'm looking for a job.
I'm like, you never know.
I'm looking to retire. That's what I'm
looking to retire, but I can use the last 5 doing something new.
Okay, well, I'm going to use, then Eric got lucky. Eric, then I'm going to use you. So one thing I want you to think about is your skill set. And y'all, I left out a whole lot of other stuff on LinkedIn right now that I didn't cover. We only have an hour. I could do this like for 6.
She could.
You're welcome back anytime. Anytime you want to come do the 6 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where do we go to buy that course?
It is not a course. I actually teach you. So if
she does go through it, like literally goes through. She'll go through your profile with you and search for keywords with you. She's very, very thorough.
Yeah, your hashtag, and it's not all at one time. We don't sit here on a Saturday. Like literally, it's over time, because you need time to inundate anybody with a whole lot of information. You go into overwhelm, and I don't do that. I want you to really have actionable steps in how to do this. So, Senior Vice President at Bluestone Anthem Entertainment. Oh, you're in Vibe Beach. What's up, 757? What did you do? Okay.
All day.
Bought the Newport ship building back in the early 90s. I was only like 3 years old. But anyway.
Bad news.
She acts like we can't do math. You know, she was 20 just a minute ago.
No, she's doing that new math.
That's that real new math.
And I'm from South Carolina. So, you know, we're way behind on that. Okay. We got, at least you, okay. So for you, you do have 500 connections. That is great. We got work to do.
I know we do.
Okay. All right. he's like, that's why I'm here. So this is something that we are generally we're not the best at. And let me tell you, I did good at it in my early years, and I don't know, it seemed like the better I got, the worse I got. So I see we have, is that a live question in the Q&A?
Yes,
How would you recommend you have your profile include board of directors information? Oh, so you can put that in the volunteer section, or you can put it in your actual experience section. So it's up to you. He doesn't have a volunteer section. There used to be, let me double check. They always change stuff on me.
Yeah, you could add it. See, again,
Yeah.
those are the ones that you can add because they're not readily available.
And I put other people's, so education, so there's a volunteer section. So this is, I'm not on this board anymore. I need to change this. I'm mentally a little bit upset. Shh, don't tell her. But you can put it in a volunteer experience. But if you did a lot of work, meaning you helped them raise millions of dollars, grow membership by 15%, you have a lot of metrics, I would not put that in volunteer. Especially as women, we do a lot of work that we don't take credit for. And I'm going to talk about that here. Okay. So these are the things that you may not even have this on your resume, but you need to have metrics. You see how in this part of my resume, I'm gonna zoom in. I did a horrible job, y'all. This, and I'm grown. I'm like 30 when I wrote this. It says, Aaron Illinois Rivers Project is a 345 kV transmission and distribution project. That don't mean nothing. That has no value. It has 375 miles of transmission lines and several substations. Worthless. Tasked with managing the day-to-day construction activities of nearly 200 miles of transmission line. That's a little bit better. Manage construction crews in the field. That's okay. Let me tell you what I did when I was younger and brighter. So I was probably like 12. And I was a sales engineer for Eaton Corporation for 1 year and 8 months. This is what I wrote from that position. Increase sales of uninterruptible power supply product line by 25%. But honey, how you do that? By developing and executing sales plans through marketing strategy at Eaton Business Systems. Does that make sense to y'all?
Yes.
When you have concrete numbers, and they can't invalidate this most times, internal to your organization, they can ask questions. External to the organization, they don't know if you're lying or not. So what I mean is, if you're guessing and you don't have those finite numbers, because I work with a lot, I work with women who are engineers, like, well, how do I calculate that? Do you have the equation? What book is, I'm getting asked these questions. Talisha, no.
That's what I was gonna.
What's
So,
the algorithm for that?
Exactly. Was there an app for that? No. So what you're going to have to look at, Eric, because you're a VP, so you have access to this data. What are your sales growth? What is your productivity like? How did you implement change? Add in a new process in that organization, right?
Mm.
And how did it reduce costs? How did it improve retention? You want to have at least 3, maybe up to 5 numbers in each profile. And you really only need 3 powerful bullet points to talk about it. I increased sales. They're like, well, damn, 25%, even if it was $1,000, you bought in 25% more of $1,000. But I had 3.5 million. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Cherie has a question. She asked, should you hire a professional resume builder or copywriter to help you with your profile?
You don't have to. The hardest part of this is literally not going into overwhelm, which is why when I work with people, I break it up. You can work with me if you want to, but I'm literally telling you what you need to do. So you don't have to. So what's on your resume does not necessarily need to be on your LinkedIn. The resumes go through an ATS, right? So a software is scanning it. So it's looking for something different than to get through the first filter in an organization if you're applying online. What you're doing here when you're really working on LinkedIn, somebody may actually scan this, a hiring manager or a recruiter, if they understand, if you're coming from the technical side, understanding what you really do. So I put in $3.5 million, which meant I didn't work with little money. And even that's the only good number I had on this profile, except when I was in energy. No, I didn't even have the dollar amount. I don't even have that. It's a $1.3 billion program. I didn't even put the dollar amount. This is how much I didn't care, right? That's why I said I did so much better in my younger days. I don't know, I lost my mind. But I leave it here just to show you it happens to everybody, and you do better when you know better. And I knew better, and I still didn't do it. So literally look at what are those productivity, revenue, sales numbers, the size of the organization, like the number of people or contractors you manage. How many contracts do you manage? And you spell that out. But truly, this is what I want to get to. I know you're trying to get into blockchain, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you pull up job descriptions on LinkedIn, do you look at what your current skill set is? And I just want to look at the Merriam-Webster definition of skill set. Skill set definition is a set of skills, especially a collection of skills and ability that can be applied to a professional or creative endeavor. It is truly your knowledge and experience that you gathered. That does not have to only apply to the career you're in, to the industry you're in. So how would you take what you do in sales and take it over to blockchain? You do sales, so you do relationship building, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You understand how to read people's so you're more on the emotional intelligence side. What are they lacking, or what problem do you solve when you go into organizations? Because truly what you're trying to sell to employers, especially at the level you're at, is your ability to solve a problem for them. You're not filling a role. Anybody can fill a job position. You want to position yourself as a problem solver. You have this pain, Eric can solve it for you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So take job descriptions and don't look at it, well, I don't have this and this and this. You can literally go through like, I can do that. I know how to do this. I've managed. This word sounds similar to something we do in this industry. I can do that. So look at what you can do, and that's really what you're going to highlight and put into your about section on LinkedIn, because those are some of the things that you may be searching for, especially if you're seeing it over and over again in that industry. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Anybody else? Any questions?
Michelle, am I hearing you basically say, kind of think of your position in terms of its transferable skills, the soft skills potentially, and then kind of apply it over to this new position of interest?
Exactly. So you definitely want to look at it as transferable skills, which is a whole better word than what I said.
No. Okay.
So let's say you're in accounting, but you don't want to go into an accounting role when you go over to a blockchain focused company, right? You want though to go over and say your ability, what's the skill set? Anybody in accounting?
No, but I would say the accountants need to be there for the precision, to make sure the balance is right. Even in a blockchain scenario, they have to make sure those transactions are correct. So they're good at validation, and they need that. That's where the transfer comes in.
It's a good word in blockchain. Yeah.
So I love the way Talisha, like, wait, we need accountants. Don't leave accounting.
And you can be an accountant. A blockchain needs an accountant. They certainly do, or at least those skills. So that's where, again, it may not be applied. You are creating a ledger, but now you're doing it through a different mechanism. And that needs to be, transition from the old to the new. So now you have to be that bridge to get them to that. Like, okay, this is how we used to do it. You can say, hey, I know a better way to do it. I just don't have that functionality in my current system. Now you've created yourself as the person who knows the standard, and now you can implement new and flexible and agile additions and value adds to a system, because now it has the ability to do that for you.
Yeah.
On your headline, you probably put your change agent, in the accounting.
I mean, that's a good one.
I don't know.
Yeah, in your headline, you want to use keywords and you can literally just change instead of saying you might say fintech, but you're probably going to say blockchain. Mm-hmm. And you want that blockchain to be in your headline. So when people are searching for it, you pop up. You're like, I'm not even looking for this type of person, but I like this accounting background and they do blockchain too. You're more likely to get it than leaving it out of your entire profile. So they may see your transferable skills like Talisha sees it.
Cool.
All right. Any other questions?
I did have a question. Like, and you're saying where you get these keywords is from looking at a position that is using them or something.
Exactly.
How do you know like which one is the keyword? I guess kind of whatever by frequency.
Yeah, exactly. So you can. I'd say make a list of like 20 employers. Okay. Out of the 20 employers, just go to 3 of their job postings on LinkedIn with similar job titles and descriptions that you're interested in. And let me put a caveat in there. Just because you have not worked in this industry, in this role, do not go in and take a pay cut. Do not go in and take a junior role, because your level of expertise, just because it's not in that industry or in that place, does not mean it invalidates all the work you've already done, all the education you've already done, and your subject matter expertise in another area, as well as your networking connections. So do not go back to a junior role. I highly disagree with that. But yeah, so go pull 3 jobs, no more than 5. Usually 3 is enough for you really to understand what are recurring common words that employers are using. This is the other thing. You get people in HR that are lazy, so they go pull another employer's job description. So it's only 1 to 5 of them that's ever writing it from scratch. The rest of them just copy and paste and changing words.
Is that true, Tawana?
We have an HR professional sitting right here.
That's
Okay.
Why create the wheel? Just do it once. That right. Sounds good.
So, are there any really good ones out there that are kind of your go-to, Tawana? Like companies that write their stuff with, like maybe a Gartner or somebody.
I'm not a recruiter, so that's not a wheelhouse. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We do have a question from Miss Jackie. She wants to know if she's been retired for a long time and she's trying to re-enter the space, specifically the blockchain space, as an educator and content writer. Ooh. So do you have anything that she could do specifically to kind of make that transition?
She wants to be paid as a content writer?
Yes, as an educator and a content writer.
Can she come off the mute?
Miss Jackie, you want to talk?
It's a great question.
Because
Jackie, put in the chat if you want me to unmute your voice.
And I'll fill it in. Michelle used the STAR method for describing your accomplishments. Yes, I did. See, that must be an HR person.
Right.
So I'll talk to this. Okay, so she's coming off the mute. The content part is so key. So if you can put up a website and already work on search engine optimization, that would be great. And going through and pitching to blockchain based, even if it's startups, and say, hey, I want to write a piece, 500-word piece for you using my name on your blog.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Go right ahead, Miss Jackie.
Go, Jackie.
I wanted to make sure that she could hear me.
Yeah, we hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Michelle. I missed just a little bit of what you just said. Can you repeat it?
You can literally, do you have a website now where you've already started writing content about blockchain?
No, I don't have a website.
She's got a book.
I did write a book.
What you mean you wrote a book? You didn't? I'm so confused right now. Okay, so you have a book. Where can we find the book?
On Amazon.
Okay, so if I go to Amazon and I type in blockchain, What else I need to type in to get the book to come up?
The title is Blockchain Basics Teen Edition.
Okay, so this is what I think you should do. I think you should literally create content based somewhat based out of your book. So let's say you take a topic out of your book. It could be one sentence and write a 500 to 1,200 word blog.
Okay.
And you're going to start creating your own SEO, because what's going to happen, you can probably do this fairly quickly if you love to write. I'm not that person. But what it'll help you do is build some authority along with your book. Then you can go pitch to startups or larger companies about doing sponsored posts, or them paying you to write blogs with your name on their sites. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Something else you can do, you can use Help a Reporter Out, HARO. And you can say, hey, I'm looking for people who have background or experience, who, blockchain, something that's blockchain related. Mm-hmm. And that like once a quarter, because then now you're going to backlink to their site. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So now, the problem is a lot of times that people are using HARO don't have a huge following, but it still helps you grow your credibility. The next thing you can do is work on getting PR. Who helped you with your book? Do you have a PR person?
No, I had a coach, no PR.
I would look at maybe working with a PR person, or understanding and researching some PR hacks. So you get podcasts, start doing pitching yourself for podcast interviews and stuff. Mm-hmm. So you want to grow your authority. This is just on the content side. Then what happens is, and only do this for like 90 days, maybe 180 while we're on lockdown, and then come out, and that time you built your authority. SEO won't be that great because it's only 6 months old or less than that. But now you're saying, hey, I have this authority in blockchain. This is why you should hire me. This is what I know. This is my area of expertise. Check out my interview on this podcast. This is me in Business Insider. This is me somewhere else. If you have the time and maybe some money to hire a publicist. And when I say a publicist, I'm not saying pay $3,000, maybe at most $1,000 for somebody to help you. Okay. So I'm not saying you're going to put more time than dollars. Time still has more value to me than dollars, but I would work it one of those three ways. So, or all of those ways, depending on how fast you want to move to get in the industry. Then the other side of that, do none of it. Literally just rework your history and the work you're already doing in the blockchain community to position yourself as an authority, create your, update your LinkedIn profile, and go out and start talking to people in the blockchain space for a job. Don't mention you're retired. Just mention you've been building community, becoming an authority, teaching other people, whatever you're doing in that time. What publicists do you know for $1,000? We need referrals. So the one I'm working with right now, let me come back to your question. I got another one. If you take the 3 job descriptions and place them in Tag Crowd, you'll see the frequency of keywords in the job description. Yeah. Or you can do a word. Yeah, I was going to say word cloud. Yep. I like H White. That's what's up. Okay. A question for Michelle. What publicists do PR person? I'm working with one right now for 90 days. She's out of the Bay. I will send you over her information. I don't know if she's gonna give you the same price she gave me, but I'll negotiate with her for you. Let's catch up for a podcast interview for sure. I love that. Any other questions?
Michelle, I have one other question.
Yes, ma'am.
So on my LinkedIn profile, in my mind, I'll have this big gap from when I retired up to now, when I start the stuff in the blockchain space. How is that going to look? Is it going to make a difference? Should I try to fill something in that space or what?
Okay, what year you I'm graduated. What year you retired? You graduated to retirement. What year was that?
I graduated in 2003.
I love it.
I love this new math. I'm telling you, I got to get on this. I got to learn.
Okay, Jacqueline Hayes.
Yes.
Is that your LinkedIn profile?
Yeah, yes, that's probably it.
No, that's not it.
Oh, it's not it. Okay.
I went straight Jacqueline. I'm like, that's kind of common. So let me just search over here. So what I would do, so what have you been doing in between now? Because you wrote the book in 2016. So between
No, I just wrote the book last year.
Okay, I'm sorry, 2019. Mm-hmm. So what have you been doing in that it was a 16-year gap. That's what you tell me. What have you been doing in those 16 years though?
Wow. Mostly taking care of family members who were disabled or ill or elderly.
So you're a caregiver?
Yes.
Okay.
It sounds reluctant, but yeah.
Seriously, people literally, there are jobs that call professional caregiver. Literally, that's literally what you can put in there. Professional caregiver, leveraging technology to help those who are dealing with medical issues.
I actually think that's what I did, but I wasn't sure if that was,
Okay.
That's what I would do that. And then how did you end up in blockchain? Did you find, think about the security issues with the data and information you were dealing with those that you were taking care of, and thought blockchain would be a great way to secure their information as they went in and out of medical facilities? I'm just saying.
Oh,
I like that. And I actually have had that thought, taking people back and forth to the doctor on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
So it's something that happened even while you were caregiving, you got into blockchain, something that happened. There was a transition. Either you were looking for information, you were looking for something new. Just because you were taking care of people, it is not a job. Let me come back on camera. Mm-hmm. Just because it's not a job does not invalidate that. Too often, because women, especially women of color, are told, well, that's what you're supposed to do, so it doesn't have value. But if we weren't there, they would pay somebody hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now it's worse because we're not doing it. Ooh, so I want you, because there are tech companies that are elder care companies, and they're telling them they're worth millions. But when you do the job, you should be getting paid $10 an hour at best.
Come on, Michelle, that's good.
Yeah,
work.
So when you write up your elder care services, right? Mm-hmm. You're saying how you manage the schedule of their medical needs. You may have managed their financial needs. You may have managed their households, right?
Right.
And those are the things you're going to say, and you're going to look like, you know what, by the time I took care of these 12 people, that overall was about $1.2 million.
Okay.
And if you look at the value, and you don't have to, you can guesstimate the estimated value of their homes, their retirements, Social Security, medical benefits is $1.2 million. Easy.
Okay.
Unless you're in California, then one house was $1.2 million. You might be about $10 million. Okay. But I want you to think in those terms, because we think small, and truly, I need you to think like you're a mediocre white man.
Okay, I got it.
I'm glad we got that on recording.
She says it in her own. She says it in her training all the time.
Yeah, I do this all the time.
That's her line.
Somebody said elder care is $1 trillion business.
It's so true.
But you only supposed to get paid $10, and you should be grateful for that $10 because you should take care of your people. That's what you people do. No, we about to get paid today. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Michelle, you really did just really help me out with that metrics piece has always been my hang up. That piece right there. So coming from those angles, that's fire. Yeah, that's
okay.
Good.
So yeah, just find ways to add in numbers. If they had a cell phone, but if you just, even if you just have to go by the average retirement or Social Security amount people get, use that. You don't have to have defined numbers because that's not what you were looking at the time, but going back to build out your profile, definitely come up with some numbers and some metrics.
Okay. Thank you, Jackie. We're like close out of time now. We want to make sure we respect everyone's time this evening. So did we have any final, you can come back on video too. Did we have any final, did you have any final slides or anything like that, Michelle? To show?
I did have one final slide. I forgot about that. See, we got into some good stuff.
We did.
And make sure you
and I really want to thank you as well.
Yes, contact information. So if people want to get in contact with you later, make sure you share that.
So definitely, you can definitely reach me. I put my LinkedIn profile on here. I'm in LinkedIn on the inbox all day, every day. If I'm not sending out messages, I'm responding to messages. So definitely connect with me there. I'm Michelle C. Hayward everywhere on social. So you can connect with me on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook, Michelle C. Hayward. I'm not going to connect with you on Facebook. So
I'll tell you that.
Ain't no money on Facebook for Michelle.
It's a way to leverage Facebook. You just have to know where to go and what groups to be in. Trust me. But the easier way to know where your money is LinkedIn. You don't have to look as hard. It's just there. Point blank, period. And LinkedIn, and just literally LinkedIn is like Facebook of 2008. You could easily connect with people. Facebook right now, because of the way it's set up, it is the worst platform to be on for a pandemic because they put up so many walls and they will only let you see 2% of your Facebook friends. Now they had to roll out real quick. Hey, we got this thing. Y'all can talk to everybody. You can FaceTime each other. Like, really?
You want me, but I can't see you. I can't invite you because I can't see you.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. So yeah, so connect with me wherever on Michelle C. Hayward. Definitely send me a message on LinkedIn when you do send me a connection request, just so I know it's from this community. So I'll be like, I don't know, I got somebody like, hey, connect with me and I'll let you interview me for my book.
I'm gonna do you a favor.
Thank you. I'm gonna come to you to be interviewed.
Well, thank you so very much. I appreciate you coming, and we'll have to have you on again because I just love you here.
Yeah.
It's just so wonderful to have you. So thank you very, very much.
Yes. And I do want to say a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the hashtags and we looked up blockchain and a couple of other hashtags that were for this community. So go back, I think 2 weeks ago, to the blockchain chat and check that out, or ask us questions in Flock if you are an Inner Circle member. Dr. Keisha also has a course, a LinkedIn course that'll be coming out most likely end of May, early June. So stay connected with that. We're going to talk about some advanced specific applications for using LinkedIn. And I will tell you personally, when I started out writing business plans, I said, okay, I've got to focus on a couple of things, and LinkedIn and Google were the two I went to, and ended up with six-figure business, because people were looking on LinkedIn for business plan writers and on Google for business plan writers. So you'll do yourself a favor by learning how to use and leverage LinkedIn, and don't be afraid of the paid version either. That's just me, conspiracy theorist. I think when you pay, you get ranked higher and all of that stuff. So, also, I just want to invite everybody, if you're not a member of Black Blockchain Consultants, so please consider membership. Membership has its privileges. So you can go to blockchainstudies.tech, and we have our bundle. We Shall Overcome is the 50% off for our blockchain classes through May 13th. So you have until May 13th to get your blockchain classes. get them now, and you can even study them over the summertime. So We Shall Overcome is a promo code at blockchainstudies.tech. You can become a member. You can take the Blockchain 101 course and all of our other courses that are on there. And with the certificates, you can also post them to LinkedIn.
The LinkedIn page. That's
exactly, right. Exactly. And then you can refer to them in your About section, and people can see the certifications of the certificates of completion and see that you are a serious student of blockchain. So that should get you through the doors a lot more as well. So, okay, everybody, thank you so much. We went extra long, but Michelle was awesome. So we thank you, Michelle, for being here.
It was. We got some work to do, Michelle, but thank you. You set us up nicely.
Yes, and I'm sure people will be calling you for their one-on-one sessions. Credit card in hand, please, for Michelle, so that she can work with you on your LinkedIn profile so that you can get paid. All righty then. Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.